My dear friends, today I want to speak to you about something that lies at the very foundation of every success, every invention, every revolution: thinking. You see, the mind is the most powerful tool a human being has been gifted with. It is where dreams are born, it is where ideas are shaped, and it is where destiny begins. In life, you will face challenges, you will see failures, you will experience moments when everything seems lost. But remember this: your thoughts are your greatest asset. When everything else is taken away, your ability to think clearly, creatively, and courageously will be your guiding light. Let me ask you, what is it that separates a winner from someone who gives up? It is not talent, it is not resources. It is the ability to think differently, to think deeply, and to think beyond the immediate obstacle. Every time life pushes you down, you have two choices: either to stay down or to think your way up. Great thinkers were never defined by their circumstances. They were defined by their vision. They used the power of thought to turn adversity into opportunity. When others saw failure, they saw a lesson. When others saw darkness, they imagined a new dawn. Young minds, remember this. Do not let your thinking be imprisoned by failure or by the opinions of others. Instead, train your mind to think positively. Think with purpose, think with passion, because your thoughts will shape your words will shape your actions, and your actions will shape your future. Do not be afraid of ups and downs. They are part of life's natural rhythm. But in every up and in every down, let your thinking be your compass. Let it lead you, inspire you, and transform you. In a world full of changing circumstances, unpredictable events, and relentless challenges, there is one treasure every individual possesses: the power to think. Unlike physical assets that can be lost, stolen, or destroyed, your ability to think is indestructible, portable, and infinite. When you begin to treat your thinking as your greatest asset, you unlock the real potential within yourself. We often measure wealth in terms of money, possessions, or status, but true wealth lies in the richness of thought. A person who can think critically, creatively, and courageously is more powerful than one who simply inherits fortune. Why? Because thought has the ability to build dreams, solve problems, overcome adversity, and bring ideas into reality. Look around you. The world you live in today is built on thought. The electricity that powers your home, the technology that connects us, the medicines that heal us, all began as thoughts in someone's mind. But not just any thought. It was disciplined, nurtured, and acted upon. When life brings setbacks, and it will, material assets may not help, degrees may not help, even friends may not always understand. In such moments, what will keep you afloat is your thinking. When the world says give up, your thoughts can whisper, there is another way. When everyone sees failure, your thinking can see a lesson. When the road ahead seems blocked, your thinking can draw a new map. But for thinking to become your asset, it must be cultivated with care. Random thoughts do not create change. Focused and purposeful thinking does. You must feed your mind with good knowledge, question the world around you, and reflect regularly. Don't allow your thinking to be caged by fear, doubt, or the opinions of others. Treat your mind like a garden. If you plant weeds, negativity, fear, laziness, your thoughts will reflect those weeds. But if you plant seeds of curiosity, ambition, kindness, and resilience, your thinking will bear fruits that nourish your future. History is filled with individuals who rose not because of what they had, but because of how they thought. A young student struggling in school became a world-changing scientist. A child selling newspapers developed into a visionary leader. What made this possible? Not privilege, not luck, but a decision to treat thinking as a sacred, lifelong asset. Even when all doors close, your thoughts can build new ones. When people abandon you, your thoughts can become your companions. When you feel lost, your thinking can give you a direction. That's how powerful this internal asset is. And unlike external assets, your thinking becomes sharper the more you use it. It doesn't depreciate with time, it appreciates. The more you read, reflect, solve, and imagine, the more valuable your thinking becomes. That's why successful people always invest in their mind. They understand that while life is unpredictable, a trained mind is unshakable. So, my dear friends, in every phase of your life, in every storm you face, and in every goal you chase, never forget this. Your greatest wealth is your thinking. Guard it, sharpen it, and use it to rise. For a thinking mind is a mind that cannot be defeated. Let your thoughts be the wings that lift you. Let them guide your purpose, shape your character, and carry your dreams. No matter what comes your way, remember, your thoughts can build the life you desire. Every human life is a journey filled with trials, triumphs, detours, and crossroads. No one is exempt from facing hardship, whether it is financial struggle, personal loss, academic failure, or emotional pain. Each of us, at some point, walks through the fire. And yet, what separates those who crumble from those who rise is not luck or talent, but something far more powerful, the strength of thought. Challenges, by their very nature, are temporary. They come like storms, sudden, often painful, sometimes overwhelming. But no storm lasts forever. Eventually, the clouds clear. The winds die down, the sun returns. The mistake most people make is believing that because the storm is strong today, it will always be that way. They confuse a bad day with a bad life. They begin to lose hope, thinking the situation is permanent. But this is where the power of thought becomes crucial. When you train your mind to think beyond the immediate pain, you begin to see possibility even in adversity. You learn to ask not, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What can I learn from this?" You begin to understand that obstacles are not punishments. They are opportunities. They are sent to make you think deeper, act stronger, and live wiser. And the only tool you truly need to navigate them is your mind. The person with a strong, disciplined, and optimistic thought process can endure any hardship. That's because thought power is internal. It does not depend on the weather outside, the opinions of others, or the balance in your bank account. It is yours to command always. And when your thinking is clear and courageous, even the most difficult situation becomes a platform for growth. The most successful people in history were not those who never faced difficulty. In fact, they often faced more challenges than the average person. But what set them apart was their mindset. Where others saw failure, they saw feedback. Where others stopped, they paused, reflected, and continued. They used their thinking like a flashlight in a dark tunnel, searching for the next step, even when the end was not in sight. There's a reason why thinkers lead the world. A thinker doesn't allow temporary situations to define permanent beliefs. A thinker doesn't accept defeat as final. A thinker doesn't surrender to fear, because thought power, once nurtured, becomes a form of inner energy, unshakable and lasting. It gives you mental resilience, emotional stability, and the ability to make wise decisions even under pressure. This doesn't mean that thinkers don't feel pain. Of course, they do. They cry. They doubt. They struggle, but they never allow those feelings to become walls. Instead, they use their thoughts to turn those feelings into fuel. That's what makes thought power eternal. It renews itself. It evolves. It strengthens you from within, so you can deal with what's outside. Now, consider the opposite. Imagine going through life without strong thinking. You face one failure and you believe you're worthless. You encounter one loss and you decide never to try again. You listen to one negative comment and you begin to doubt your entire self-worth. This is what happens when thinking is not your anchor. You get blown in every direction the wind takes you. But you don't have to live like that. You have the ability to choose your thoughts. You can decide what you focus on, what you believe, what you give energy to. That's a power no one can take from you. Not circumstances, not failure, not even time. While everything outside you can change, the one constant you can always rely on is your ability to think your way forward. So when life pushes you down, when nothing goes as planned, when the future looks uncertain, close your eyes and go inward. Ask your thoughts to lead you. Remind yourself that this moment is temporary, but your vision is not. Your pain is temporary, but your purpose is not. And your problems are temporary, but your power of thought is eternal. In every classroom, workplace, and corner of the world, we see two kinds of people, those who succeed and those who give up. What makes the difference between them is not always talent, money, or background. It is the way they think. The truth is simple. Winners think differently. They do not think like everyone else. They do not respond to failure the same way others do. Their thoughts are shaped by purpose, not pressure. From an early age, most of us are taught what to think, not how to think. We're given answers but not encouraged to ask questions. But winners, those who truly create something valuable in life, do not blindly follow what they are told. They observe, question, imagine, and act. They train their minds to stay focused on goals, even when distractions surround them. They train their thoughts to resist fear, even when fear is loud. That is the foundation of all achievement. When others see a problem, winners see a possibility. While most people stop at the first obstacle, winners think, what is another way? They don't panic when something fails. Instead, they ask, what can I do better next time? This difference in response is not just about attitude. It is about mental discipline. Winners are not born with this mindset. They build it. They fall, but instead of thinking, I can't, they think, I must. That shift in thought is what turns ordinary people into leaders, inventors, and visionaries. Many people look at winners and assume they are lucky. But luck, in reality, is often the result of consistent effort powered by strategic thinking. Winners plan, they prepare, they visualize their future not just once, but every day. Their thoughts are filled with determination, belief, and clarity. Even when they don't have all the answers, they trust their process of thinking to figure things out along the way. Winners also think long term. While many people chase quick success, immediate rewards, or temporary comfort, winners think beyond the present moment. They delay pleasure today for a greater reward tomorrow. They understand that patience is not waiting, it's active thinking while preparing. They know that deep roots take time to grow, but they hold the strongest trees. So while others quit because they don't see instant results, winners continue because they see the bigger picture in their mind. Another powerful way in which winners think differently is how they view themselves. Where most people are harsh and critical, winners speak to themselves with strength. Their internal dialogue is not full of self-doubt, but of encouragement. They think, I may not be there yet, but I am capable. They think, I have fallen, but I will rise. This self-belief is not arrogance. It is awareness of their own growth potential. It is thought rooted in truth and effort. Even in the face of failure, winners keep their minds open. They are not afraid of being wrong. In fact, they welcome mistakes as a part of the process because their thinking is not fragile, it is resilient. While others may give up after rejection, winners think rejection is redirection. They use every experience, good or bad, as fuel for the next step. They don't waste time blaming others or making excuses. Their thoughts are focused not on what's outside their control, but on what they can do. Winners also think generously. They do not think only of themselves. They think about how their actions can uplift others. They think about service, contribution, and legacy. Their thinking is not narrow, it is expansive. That is why their influence reaches beyond their own lives. When they solve a problem, they don't just solve it for themselves. They create solutions for many. Most importantly, winners never stop learning. Their thoughts are always curious, always searching, always evolving. They don't settle. They think, what more can I discover? This is why winners grow while others remain stuck. They allow their thinking to be flexible, dynamic, and open to change. Because they know that as long as they keep improving their thinking, they keep improving their lives. Every human action begins with a thought. Every decision, big or small, is first born in the quiet space of the mind. What we think repeatedly becomes what we believe. What we believe influences what we do. And what we do, over time, shapes the direction and outcome of our lives. This is why it is said that thoughts shape destiny, not by chance, but by choice. You may not control every situation in life. You may not control where you are born, who your parents are, or the challenges life throws at you. But one thing you always control is your thinking. And that thinking, day by day, choice by choice, constructs the path ahead. A person who thinks with clarity, conviction, and purpose is like a builder with a strong blueprint. Even if there are delays or problems along the way, the structure eventually rises because the design was sound and the mind was steady. People often focus only on results. They want success, recognition, and achievement. But they overlook the foundation of it all, thought. A person who achieves greatness has already won the battle in the mind long before the world sees the result. They have pictured the outcome. They have rehearsed the actions. They have removed self-doubt and replaced it with belief. Destiny, in their case, is not an accident. It is a reflection of focused mental preparation. If your thoughts are scattered, your life will be scattered. If your thoughts are weak, your actions will be hesitant. But if your thoughts are organized, strong, and aligned with your values, your life will begin to follow a clear direction. That is the power of thinking with intention. Just like a river cuts through rock not because of force, but because of persistence and direction, your repeated thoughts carve the shape of your future. Your thoughts influence how you see the world. Two people can face the same problem, but their thoughts make the difference. One person thinks this is the end and gives up. Another thinks this is a challenge I will overcome and pushes forward. The external situation is the same, but the internal world changes everything. Over time, that internal mindset becomes the force that shapes where each person ends up. Think of people who made history. Before they changed the world, they changed their thinking. They rejected limiting beliefs. They dared to imagine what others considered impossible. Their destiny was not written by chance. It was designed by their thoughts. They had faith when others had doubt. They had vision when others had fear. That mental attitude did not just influence their success, it created it. Many people allow their destiny to be controlled by fear, laziness, or negative self-talk. They think thoughts like I am not good enough or I can never succeed, and over time they live in a way that reflects those thoughts. But when you shift your thinking, when you say I can learn, I will improve, or I am capable, your actions start to reflect that belief. You begin to try more, risk more, and persist longer. And with each step, your destiny begins to shift. Thoughts are not invisible. They appear in your words, your choices, your habits, and eventually your character. If your thoughts are focused on growth, learning, and purpose, then your life starts to move in that direction. You may not see results overnight, but slowly the changes take shape. You begin to speak with more confidence, walk with more purpose, and act with more consistency. That inner transformation always precedes the outer change. You are not a victim of fate. You are the author of your destiny, and your pen is your thinking. Every day, you write the next line through the thoughts you entertain and the beliefs you build. If you think small, you live small. If you think big, you begin to grow into the vision you hold in your mind. That's why you must guard your thoughts with care. Protect them from negativity. Feed them with truth, knowledge, and courage. Because in the end, it is not luck or circumstances that shape your life. It is the thoughts you think every single day. The mind is like a field. If left unattended, weeds of fear, doubt, and negativity begin to grow. But if cared for, cultivated, and trained, it can produce ideas, confidence, resilience, and peace. That is why one of the most important responsibilities you have in life is to train your mind, not just to think, but to think in a way that is positive and purposeful. People often think that positive thinking means ignoring reality or pretending that life is easy. But that is not what true positivity is. True positivity is the strength to face reality without being destroyed by it. It is the ability to see the light, even while walking through darkness. It is a conscious decision to focus on what is possible rather than what is broken. It is a mindset of growth, not denial. Purposeful thinking, on the other hand, gives direction to your mind. It makes sure that your energy, time, and thoughts are not wasted on things that don't matter. A person with no purpose may think a lot, but their thinking leads them in circles. A person with purpose, however, channels their thoughts toward a clear destination. They do not allow their minds to drift aimlessly from one distraction to another. Their thinking is disciplined, focused, and goal-oriented. Training the mind in this way doesn't happen by accident. It is not something you are born with. It is something you build through effort and repetition. Just as a body becomes strong with daily exercise, the mind becomes strong with daily practice. You have to make conscious choices about what you allow into your mental space, what you read, what you listen to, what kind of people you spend time with. Every influence either strengthens your mind or weakens it. A positive and purposeful mind is not easily shaken. It does not collapse in the face of criticism or failure. It knows that mistakes are part of the journey. It chooses to learn rather than quit. It sees failure not as a dead end, but as a curve in the road. This mindset gives you emotional strength in hard times. It helps you recover faster, act wiser, and stay committed to your goals, even when things aren't going well. To train your mind, you must first become aware of your thoughts. Many people live their whole lives without noticing what goes on inside their minds. They allow every fear, every doubt, every negative voice to take root without resistance. But training begins with awareness. Once you recognize a negative or aimless thought, you have the power to challenge it. You can replace it with a thought that builds you, not breaks you. This doesn't mean you will always feel happy. But even when you feel pain, your thinking can keep you grounded. You can tell yourself, "This is hard, but I will get through it." That small shift can give you strength that no one else can give, because in that moment, your mind is working with you, not against you. Purpose adds meaning to your thinking. When you have a clear reason for your actions, your mind becomes more focused. You start to think in ways that align with your goals. You stop wasting time on things that don't add value. You stop comparing your life to others because you know where you are going. Purposeful thinking helps you make better decisions because you are thinking long term, not just for the moment. Even in everyday life, this training shows results. When your mind is positive, you speak with more kindness. You respond with more patience. You carry yourself with more calm. And when your mind is purposeful, you become consistent. You are not easily distracted by temptations or delayed by fear. You take steps, even small ones, toward your dreams each day. It's easy to let the outside world control your mind. The noise, the fear, the pressure, it's everywhere. But when you train your inner world, the outer world loses its power over you. Your thoughts become your compass. Your values become your guide. And your vision becomes your fuel.